Good evening and welcome back to Gulag Café. Much sadness across all Soviet Empire today.
Yes,
I had something lined up I was going to say, but it left me. Chris, take it away.
indeed. Good evening, Tovarishi, and welcoming to the Gulag Cafe. Tonight, please settle yourself down on small piece of wood. Be careful not to get splinters in butthole, and enjoy tonight's special sandwich with ashes and sorrow. Please do not forget the crispy bug on the side. We have very special and important message for you. As you know, great communist defenders of the UK Socialist Soviet Republic are in danger. You're all in danger from President, so-called President Donald Trump, who is worldwide reactionary fascist, dragging the world backwards away from the progressive revolution. He has indeed even said a bad thing about the leader Keir Starmer, which we of course cannot abide. So tonight we will be examining.
Wicked Cheeto dictator, even worse than Hitler.
Yes, even much worse than Hitler. 6 million votes he did destroy. So please to be relaxing. That is absolutely in order. Grab your homosexual or trans lover, but not too tightly, and enjoy tonight's episode of Gulag Cafe.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. Tonight, we wanted to just speak freeform about some stuff going on with Trump. We're going to talk a little bit about some serious stuff, but it's mostly just going to be us cutting loose, talking about how there's a lot of salt to mine. We have several things picked out to talk about and laugh about tonight. But before we get started, I'd just like to remind you guys that during this stream, it's only an hour. If you want to send in your paid chats, I prefer it on Entropy, of course. You can send in short messages on Cash App and PayPal. I'll get those on the phone. And you can, of course, send in rants on Rumble and hyper chats on Odyssey. And since it's just free form tonight, every 5 or 10 minutes, I'll scroll through and check and see if you guys are saying anything, and we'll read them out as we come to them. And of course, we'll wrap up about 45 minutes to 50 minutes from now and check those and do one final check for the super chats and things. Then tonight, Chris, there's only a couple of things on my mind I wanted to talk about. And you said you wanted to have a more lighthearted stream. So do you mind if I talk about the couple of things I wanted to talk about, but I'll keep it lighthearted and won't be very serious about it? Can we start with
Sure.
that before we get into the fun stuff? Okay.
Please use enlighten viewers with progressive commentary against Cheeto dictator.
Evil Cheeto dictator.
Many ears are thirsty for your knowledge.
Sure. Mostly what I wanted to tell to our lovely, intelligent little audience that we have is it's okay to accept the good if it's not perfect. But you also shouldn't just accept the tolerable when it's leading you somewhere worse. The really hard thing to do is to find that in between and to keep your eye on the prize and remain positive. Is Trump our guy? No. MAGA, Trump, all these people, PayPal Mafia, a bunch of these big money guys, even some of the anti-white overlord types, these evil oligarchs, they are all gearing up to, quote, go back to the 80s and 90s, right? Like some people say they're, quote, putting the woke away. Some people say the far left of the extreme left have gone too far, so they're trying to brush it under the rug, right? All these different talking points. I don't want to get out in the weeds about that. I just wanted to let you guys know there are some good things happening. Can good things happen even if the regime is trying to use Trump and use MAGA to take us towards the same destructive white erasure path? Yes. The good news is there's a lot of breathing room because of what's happening at the government level and on the big stage for motivated people, white positive-minded people in the white well-being community, the really motivated men in all of their chapters across the United States with the Old Glory Club, and many of our friends and people who are just maybe small business owners or landowners. Much breathing room will now exist where there wouldn't have been if the anti-white regime just kept everything on lockdown. So that's good. That's the silver lining. The eye of Sauron, so to speak, will be very busy looking at other things. So it'll be easier for people that are America First politicians to get their foot in the door. It will be much easier for local level to start dispelling and shoving away all of the last 8 to 12 years of this cancerous federal crap that pushes transgenderism and white erasure in hiring practices and crap. There will be more wiggle room for right-minded people to actually start taking back ground culturally and legally on a smaller scale than federal big national stuff. That's a good thing. We should be happy about that. If illegal,
can I just interject as well, right? Like, you know,
oh,
you're
go
going to
ahead.
have
What?
this sort of period in the US as well where, wait, everything's going to be like up in the air and all chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, while the federal government is restructuring itself, you know, for a while you'll sort of be, the eye of Sauron will, you know, be poked. I'm jealous of you. I am so jealous of your Maribros. Like, honestly.
Well, here's the
Sorry.
thing, right? Like, I am not a big fan of turbo super democracy, CivNet, Vortex America. I don't want a new American empire to conquer the globe, blah, blah, blah. But I do like certain things about what this new Trump presidency is kind of looking like calling it the Gulf of America, right? Like, you might think, what a silly thing. Or talking about the Panama Canal. We should take that back. What a silly thing when all these other things are afoot. Well, yes and no. I think that a big part, like Jason Kuna talks about this a lot, the No White Guilt guy, he's here with us in the chat tonight. A big reason why white people are so deracinated and we don't have anyone to stand up for us is we don't have any reason to have unity. We don't have any reason to have ethnic or cultural pride in our own people anymore. Maybe having some things to rekindle that could be good for us. So maybe going after the cartels, building a wall, rapidly, massively cutting down on illegal immigration. Yes, I know legal immigration is a huge problem. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if we have a man who is a kingly figure like Trump doing things that will kind of rekindle some kind of American pride or white pride or whatever, to let's go get the cartels, let's seal up the border, let's reclaim the Panama Canal, let's rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, right? As silly as that stuff sounds, that's the kind of thing that can help rekindle some kind of ethnic identity that white people can have to have pride in and to maybe build brotherhood around. So, look at the silver lining of what's going on. And just because Trump isn't perfect or you think he's led by the nose or whatever, that doesn't mean that this is going to be all bad and you should be a doomer. I think being a doomer is stupid anyway. But
I mean, look, you know, Vivek's out, right?
yeah,
Like, you know, and he's
Vivek is
been,
out. Yeah.
and you know, and although he's denying it, allegedly it's because he was disparaging white Americans. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that, like, you know, in the UK, right? Like, you know, that would just be like de rigueur. Everyone would say that. So I think it's definitely trending in that direction. And look, quite frankly, even if you only get to a position where you know, under the law, right, whites are basically like the same level, right? So it's no longer like fine to discriminate against them. That is still like a huge W.
That was going to be my next point. Is Trump talked about how it's a federal proclamation. There are only two genders. The definition of woman is adult human biological female. Perfect. Getting rid of all of this identity-based hiring crap. He said it's based on purely meritocracy. Now, a lot of us who are racially conscious white people, we don't really like that. We've had that for too long. We saw where that got us. But remember, if they really are serious about that, and they start breaking down this nebula, this network of anti-white laws and hiring practices, that will roll downhill to corporate stuff and hopefully to universities. We have a lot of our guys pushing in universities now. And remember, if it really is an even playing field where meritocracy reigns, well, white people do really good in that, don't we? So even though it might not be explicitly pro-white or explicitly for heritage Americans, at least dialing it back and breaking down a lot of those anti-white, anti-male policies and hiring crap, that is still good for us.
Might I interject?
Sure.
So Ashley Styles in the YouTube chat is basically saying, you know, it's a 4-year reprieve, and then what's coming is worse than your brain can ever imagine. I'm not so sure about that.
I don't know.
One of the things about leftist tactics, right, is they infiltrate, they prepare the ground, and then they strike. This takes a long time to do, right? Like the current sort of, like, you know, woke revolution that we saw kick off in 2020 was the result of like 20 or 30 years of preparation, right? Like, you know, after the 60s didn't go anywhere, right? They all infiltrated into the schools, and you know, this takes it's a massive lead up to do this, right?
And also,
And
it
if
just
you
doesn't work
dismantle
because there's
these,
still millions of people that just don't think that way.
yeah,
So it
but
doesn't
if you
work.
dismantle these networks, what I'm saying is it takes a long time for them to get set back up, right? And I think this is sort of the natural cycle of things. Like people eventually forget, forgot about the 60s.
Yeah.
For example, you know,
but like we've said many times on this channel, both on Empire of Lies and on Discordant Dragons, all these evil anti-white people and all these regime stooges and all these evil FBI, CIA people, they aren't going anywhere. So it's not like, you know, yay, Trump, the problems are all fixed. I don't think that at all. But what I'm telling you is, it's okay to look at a situation and say, hey, this is better than it was, and this might actually provide some wiggle room or some steps for us to get to somewhere actually better. And that looks like we might have some of those steps. We might have some of that wiggle room. So I want you guys to take a sensible look at what's going on and say, yeah, there's this stuff and there's that stuff. You know, a bunch of these evil people are still in charge and still in control. If that doesn't change and the Trump regime does not actually start taking an axe and draining the swamp, charging people with at least criminal stuff, if not high treason, maybe some public executions, permanent imprisonment of high-profile anti-white, anti-American personnel in the government. If we don't see that, then I'm going to stick to my original assessment that Trump really ain't our guy, and he's just self-aggrandizing, and he wants 90s gay paused Civnat Turbo America. So that's no help to us at all.
I mean, to be fair, right? Like if anyone is about to do it, Trump is, right? I mean, just look at all the executive orders that he's passed. I mean, okay, sure, a bunch of them are going to probably get challenged in court and
well,
stuff.
Color
like
me skeptical. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm just saying, right? Like, I have literally never seen a leader like do this kind of like stuff, right? Like that's why everyone like over here, for example, in the UK, all the shit libs, they are just like sharting and farting themselves. They're just like, oh my God, right? Like don't start telling people you can just do things, right? Like, you know, we spend all of this effort basically telling people that all of these problems that we created, oh, there's nothing that can be done about the immigration, you know, all the stabbing, like, you know, we just, part and parcel living in a big city. There's nothing we can do about it. Trump's going to provide this terribly bad example by being like, you know, you could just do something about it. So
another positive thing that I want you guys to understand is just having a kingly figure, a man who is known for having brass balls, a man who is known for being the tallest, most dominant man in the room, a man who is known for, you know, spinning gold wherever he goes. Yeah, we all know if you study him long enough, he is kind of a crooked cheat and he lies a lot and he has a bunch of failed businesses and stuff. But that doesn't matter. What matters is the image. And when you have a man like Trump with his image and his reputation as your elected leader, so-called elected leader of your country, that is good for international relations. I don't think that there would have been a Russian invasion of Ukraine if Trump was in the White House. I think that something else could have been reached instead, or just out of fear of repercussions, Putin wouldn't have gone on the offensive. But Joe Biden's a wreck. He clearly is not the one in control, and Putin knew that the people who are actually in control can't stand up and show their heads. And of course, who even knew if Trump was going to get reelected or not anyway? So then you got the Putin stuff. Also, look how fucking wild Netanyahu and the crazy extreme rabbi people that actually push that insane shit in Israel. Look how off the chain they've gotten in the last couple of years. Well, Trump's already spoken out against that. There are many vocal people in Israel that want all that shit to stop, and they want the wild, aggressive, crazy Israeli offensive shit to stop. So there is a silver lining just to having a guy like Trump in the office, is maybe less war. And that's great for us because the idiots that hate us, that like to give our money away so that more white guys can die for the Middle East and all that, at least that will slow down. And if we're lucky, maybe the U.S. world police will be scaled back and actually let Europe be Europe again. Maybe we'll shut down or disempower NATO, and European countries can actually flex. They can actually grow. They can actually be nationalist again. They can have their own militaries. Like, I hate what the American machine has done to Europe. It's disgusting. And if somebody like Trump wants to make America more private and protectionist, that's only good for Europe, which is the heartland of our race. So that's good. That's a silver lining there. So,
well, from the point of view of the UK, the whole thing with Gato is actually really bad because as I've said a number of times, um, rather than the sort of global governance types basically saying, oh well, America's not in, maybe we should like pack up and go home. It does seem that what they're basically planning to do is attempt to extract even more blood and treasure from Europe to fuel their grand designs. I mean, talk about getting blood from a stone. Like
yeah.
there's no money left in Europe. Like where are they gonna? I mean, oh my God, I don't even want to think of the answer to that question. It's fine. We'll just get another a few $1 trillion from Europe. From where?
Yeah.
We're broke. We don't have
Yeah, and
any
also,
money.
like, speaking of broken resources and stuff, the U.S. military, like, it's a sinking ship monetarily, man. Like, it needs to be dialed back. Look at all the fake fiat money that we wasted on that 20-year debacle in Afghanistan. An uncountable, unthinkable quadrillion dollars, right? Like, who knows? Like, I don't even know. Like, it's hundreds of billions, if not trillions, spent on that ridiculous campaign that accomplished nothing. Well, I mean,
Actually,
negative. It actually accomplished a negative.
it accomplished a lot. It flooded the world with cheap Afghani heroin. It
That's what I'm
made
talking about.
tons
Like, it
and
was a
tons
net
of
negative. It
money.
didn't benefit us at all.
Well,
So,
no, of course.
like,
That's not the point. It wasn't meant to benefit.
I know, but
Who do
that's
you
what I'm
think
saying
you
is
are, Yiz?
there
Right?
can be a silver lining, even if Trump ain't our guy, and even if the anti-white regime still is trying to use him to roll back the woke or whatever and like take us back to the 90s. I don't think that's going to work anyway. But my point is, keep your eye on the prize, which is promoting white well-being, building the best you that you can, being invested enough in the community and people that you have to survive whatever winter comes to us. That's important. When it comes to understanding what's going on with politics, understand that what we as little people can do, we can't influence Washington and Capitol Hill and stuff. We can get at them tertiarily. We can get at them from the shadows and up through the floorboards. But what regular people like me and you need to be concerned with is not letting all the shit going on ruin our lives and crank us up and make us lose touch with reality and the people around us that actually matter. So no matter what's going on in the big tent stuff, just stay focused on what really matters. Keep your eye on the prize. And no matter how bad or how good you think that this MAGA shit is starting off this week, 4 years is a long time, and everybody lies in politics, Trump included. So just be skeptical, and it's okay to be hopeful and appreciate some good things that come our way. That's okay. Don't be a black pill doomer, but also don't huff that copium and be like, woo, turbo America and all that. Like, stay away from that, because that's how our parents and grandparents got us into this mess, is being led by the nose, so to speak. So don't be like that. So that's the like good and bad stuff that I wanted to talk about and get off my chest. I will pick some topics around these items for Discordant Dragons next week, so we can talk more in depth about it. But that's just what I wanted to share tonight on the Gulag Cafe chill stream, Chris. So anything that I brought up that you want to talk about or bounce off me or anything?
No, really. That sounds about right. I mean, like I said, I'm both happy and very jealous of you guys. I think Morgoth's formulation that the UK is going to wind up being woke North Korea is actually pretty bang on the money. More sandwiches of ashes and sadness for great English people being dragged forward by the pubic hair into progressive future.
Corpse starch energy bars.
Shall we mine some salt then?
Chris has collected a great deal of salt for us to mine tonight, so
yes,
we'll go to.
Yes.
Want to in Smallin now?
I want to submit a petition to call it degrowthing now. Actually,
degrowth. Yes, we will degrowth then. Very good.
Right. So we start off with blue sky, perfectly normal, having a perfectly normal day. If you voted for Trump, I hope you die. Just getting the crystal. It's a great crystal. You're gonna love it inside there. It's nice and comfy.
There was actually, since you're sharing tweets, let me send you a link to a tweet made by my good friend Charles Charlemagne of the Old Glory Club. He shared a really keen tweet today that I retweeted and had something to say about. Let me send you this, because I'd like you to pull it up, because this is important. With the salt that's just starting, Go ahead and pull this up real quick. I just sent you the link on Telegram. Pull
Okay.
open this tweet. I want to talk about it.
Hang on a second. Right, wait, hang on. I gotta. There we go.
Yeah. He says one of the many differences between left and right is that the harm done by right-wing policies is incidental to the goal, such as re-immigration maybe hurting people's lives and quote unquote throwing the baby out with the bathwater when you're just blanket getting rid of people, right? The goal is a good goal made for good or ideal or moral reasons. And the harm done in that situation is in pursuit of something good, right? For left wingers, the entire goal is harm to white people, and the policy is incidental. And I retweeted this and used Go Free Lexicon talking about the same issue. But this was a really good tweet. And I think that this is something that you can bring up and point out. If you have friends and family that say, both sides are the same, politics is all the same. It's just Democrats and Republicans trying to screw over the little guy. I don't recommend taking a side on Democrat versus Republican or Tory versus Labor. They're all cancer. But it's important to point out that policies that are typically associated with left are anti-white, globalist, Marxist, socialist, communist, etc., where the goal is to destroy whites, break tradition, destroy families, destroy the concept of sex, gender, religion, decency, morality, chivalry. The goals of, quote, the left, all of those policies and people who push that, a lot of right-wing people have too over the years, by the way, that stuff, all that anti-white stuff, that is how anti-whiteism and white erasure has been able to become the moral order. So you can point that out and say, hey, look at all this stuff. These people don't really care about the policies or the laws as long as our people are thinned, our pride is taken away, our families are destroyed, our churches are ruined, our minds are poisoned. They don't really care about the particulars of the policy. But the people who are good people, they have a good, noble goal in mind. And if there's harm done along the way, it's in pursuit of something good for us, good for our country, good for our people, good for our community, that kind of thing. So I thought this was a good sort of dialectical model to think on if you're having a complex political or social conversation with people in your life. Maybe think about it in these ways, and that can help walk them into understanding why white well-being is important, not left versus right politics. It's what's good for us, what's bad for us. This could be a good political stepping stone to get there, and I just wanted to share this tonight.
Okay, right. Let's get on with the salt then, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so reactionary Trump, of course, is surrounding himself with actual fascists and Nazis, much like Elon Musk. Is very, very confusing since he seems to be friend of the Jews. However, it seems that Nazis are changing their colors and are now very friendly with the nation of Israel. This, of course, is the video that basically just made everyone like go crazy. I cannot believe the amount of salt that this has generated, honestly, right? And I've just got some funny stuff.
Oh, this is good. I like this one. I like the little Nazi status confirmed brown coat down there.
I don't know, mate. I think even calling a taxi is a bit dangerous, to be perfectly honest, right? You know, you're very much nearly in the danger zone there. I just love the look on his face.
Yeah,
he does it, right? What else have we got? Now, this is the kind of shit that's been going around Twitter and Blue
I saw
Sky.
this too. Yeah.
There's just been a bunch of like, you know, Nazi experts coming out and being like, oh, look, it's definitely a Nazi salute. You know, I studied like, you know, the Nazis. I know a Nazi salute when I see one. I think this is basically what they think
hilarious.
Musk is, right? Someone sent me this on Telegram. Here comes
I don't know
man.
if this is actually an old thing from back in the day or if this is something made to look old, because I don't know, but this is funny.
I have no idea. Twice as fast as the speed of light, more powerful than atomic energy, smart as a whip, arch enemy of Jew communist traitors and all race mixers. White man fights an interplanetary duel with a diabolical fiend, the Jew from outer space, and also battles Super Coon.
This is hilarious.
Like, is this literally like what they think?
that feels like something made modern era to look old. That feels like something funny somebody made for 4chan. That's what that
Well, I
feels
mean, I
like to
don't know.
me.
I mean, if you
But
look at the edge of the photo, it does look like
yeah,
it's
I
actual
know,
paper,
but
but, you know, but I don't know. I
people
don't
are
know.
good with Photoshop and shit. I don't know. So,
But it's a bit confusing when the ADL comes out batting for Musk, right? I mean, you know, this is the same ADL that, you know, told you that, like, you know, the OK sign meant white supremacy, and that
and that milk
drinking
was
milk is
racist.
white supremacy. Yeah. And I mean, you know, they're like, this is all of a sudden, right? Instead of like just literally leaping for the worst interpretation of anything, they're like, oh, this is a delicate moment. It's a new day, and yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed. Yeah, I mean, do you think they might have? The ADL, always the sanest voice in the room, obviously. And social
Yeah.
media only adds to the anxiety. It seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm. Well, it'd be really, really nice if they extended that sort of like, you know, that charitability to like literally anyone else. That would be very, very nice. But then again, we appreciate that people are on edge. This is literally the first time I've ever seen the ADL seem to care about the
Yeah.
consequences of their actions. You know what I
This
mean?
yeah, I think that this tells us one of two things. Number one, it tells us the anti-white Jewish squad. You all know who I'm talking about. The fellow whites on Twitter, the ADL, all these scumbags. It tells us one of two things. Either what I consider to be obvious is Elon, Trump, and what's going on, they actually want. And so they're playing ball and they're all dialing back the Nazi rhetoric and the anti-white rhetoric specifically for this incoming MAGA Trump regime, right? Or number two, I think is less likely, but also a possibility. They are on the outs. They see that. And so instead of inflaming the leader of this big social movement and new regime in America, they're bowing their head and laying low and waiting for their time to strike like a clever serpent.
Or possibly they have realized that the kind of incendiary rhetoric that they are constantly using is just making everything worse. But I mean,
No,
but
I
this is
don't think
amazing,
so.
right? Like, you
I
know,
don't think the ADL's like that. I think
in,
they are led by truly psychotic, evil, anti-white people to the core, and I don't think they will have that kind of change of heart. I don't think it's
hey,
possible for them.
come on, years. In this moment, all sides should give one another a bit of grace, perhaps even the benefit of the doubt, and just take a breath. This is a new beginning. Let's hope for healing and work towards unity in the months and years ahead. This is the ADL, right? Like literally, like, they've never. Oh, it's just insane. And the funniest thing is seeing like the reaction from the left. Black Lives Matter. You guys are a joke. Well, how the turntables have turned. Goodness me, that's a bit of incendiary language there from Black Lives Matter. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Just to be clear, you are defending a Heil Hitler salute that was performed and repeated for the emphasis and clarity. People can officially stop listening to you. I stopped listening to the ADL a long time ago. I recommend that others do the same. As any sort of reputable source for information. Wait. The ADL was she thought the ADL was a reputable source of information. Wow, she really is brain damaged.
Well, I mean, AOC being a retard is not news. We all know she's dumb as a box of rocks. We all know this.
You work for them. Oh, who is this them you're talking about, Miss Occasional Cortex? I mean, you know, cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks. Fucking. And you know, there's just a ton of this stuff going around. Like,
the reason why I wanted to share that Charlemagne tweet is I thought you were going to go through all the tweets of people wishing death and harm on others. And I thought that tweet would be a good lead in to you going through those. I didn't want you to skip that part entirely, or I wouldn't have taken up so much time. I'm sorry.
Oh no, the actual salt is at the end. I thought I'd just
okay.
do some like lighthearted.
I just realized that we skipped over those after my little interlude, and I kind of felt bad, like I might have stepped on your toes or slowed your roll there.
It's all good. It's all good. I just want to. I've just had a very, very, very dark stream earlier tonight with like the stabbings and stuff, and you know, and this is just, you know, really, really funny. I just love laughing at these people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, as everyone knows, right, as we've talked about on a previous episode of Empire of Lies, due to the sort of post-war consensus, the image of the Nazis has just become this sort of catch-all for like literally everything. The further away
Mhm.
we are from the historical event, the more it seems to just magnify in the mind, right? So it just becomes the excuse for everything. I mean, this is pretty good as well. You know, he did a Nazi salute. He said, "My
Well,
heart goes out
if
to you." You know,
if you want to be a really pedantic autist, you should call it a Bellamy salute. Like, but before the World War II mind cancer and all that, like holding your hand up was a pretty common salute, even in America and in many countries. Like it goes all the way back to the Roman salute. That's why it's called throwing a Roman,
yeah.
right?
Well, you
Like
know what
that
else
kind of
was
salute has
common?
been popularized many places in many periods of time, even in America. Like they got rid of a lot of artwork in the mid 1900s, paintings and drawings and stuff of Americans holding up their hand doing the Bellamy salute to the American flag, to American statues, to American leaders. And they got rid of all that because, like, no, this doesn't fit the new paradigm. We have to get rid of all that. Like,
Yep,
so,
yep, yep. Exactly. I mean, look, you know what else the Nazis were doing a lot of? Drinking water.
oh,
You know,
uh-oh,
right?
Chris.
Like, you know,
Uh-oh.
driving cars. You know, bit of a dog whistle there, right? You like some more Nazism with your water, Nazi, right?
Remember, every time you take a sip of water, a Jew gets gassed. So 2 gallons a day, guys. Remember.
When you sip water, think of Mustache Man. Ah, there's so many of these like retarded like things. People, of course, have been
It's so
clapping back.
stupid. It's so stupid.
You know, there've been a ton of people getting like banned off Reddit for posting this kind of like stuff. Reddit is now sort of had this mass campaign to ban links from Twitter. Blue Sky is going the same way. They're basically sealing themselves in the crystal, bros,
Yeah.
and I'm all here for it, right? Like, you know, they're basically sort of boarding up the last entrances for sanity. I presume in the hope that they can hibernate in their egg sac for like 4 years and sort of keep the crazy going. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. American History X.
Oh,
It
that
just,
fucking movie.
wait,
That movie's anti-white as fuck. I don't like that movie.
it just goes on. This is my favorite though. Taylor Swift.
I did not expect the Taylor Swift Roman. That's pretty good.
That famous song of hers about you know, how she dated a Nazi and felt bad about it afterwards because you know, he kept running around on her and trying to like save the Aryan race. You know, it's so retarded, mate. But we do have some actual salt now.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Okay, right. So I just wanted to do that like funny stuff.
Sure. No, it's fun. It's a good time. It's a good time.
I gotta, let's see. What kind of voice?
While you're doing that, let me check and see if we have any paid chats.
Oh yes, yes. Do that.
I checked about 10 minutes ago and we didn't have anything yet. So let me check. Let's see. Nothing on cash on Entropy. Let me do Cash App and whatnot and PayPal. Okay, nothing there. All right, nothing's showing up. You're good to go.
The mask is truly.
Oh
off.
no. Something did come in. Sorry. I just refreshed PayPal and it was slow. Something did come in on PayPal. Oh, it's from Don Sanderson. Dawn sent us $30 this time instead of 10.
Thank you,
$30. Thank you, Dawn. And she says, "Shh, here's an extra tenner for Chris."
Thank you so much, Dawn. Yeah, my PayPal is being retarded. I don't know what the fuck's going on with it. So thank you, Dawn.
Well,
I appreciate
thank you,
that.
Dawn. That's really sweet. I'll make sure to get him the money. All right. Well, no, we can continue on. Go ahead.
The mask is truly off, and half our country is perfectly fine with a racist rapist as our leader. They are fine with him destroying democracy. They are fine with the KKK. They are fine with Nazis. They want others to suffer and die. As long as they get their precious groceries lowered, they won't. I mean, this is the thing I keep seeing in these, right? They're like, people voted for him like just for like lower prices. You realize people are like literally fucking starving, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, like, oh, like again, not to use leftist terminology, but the privilege of these fucking people being like, oh, you just want to be able to afford to eat. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's like, no, excuse me. I don't want to be white erased out of existence biologically. I don't want to be killed in the street. I don't want there to be massive amounts of criminals imported and just let run wild so they'll rape our daughters and sisters and stuff. Like, it's not just because I want a cheaper latte. Like, if that's the extent of these people, they truly are the most privileged, pampered people in our country.
I got it. Racism, you mean? Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Everybody told me I was making a big deal out of him winning in 2016. How bad could it be, they asked. This bad. This bad that his second in command is giving Nazi salutes, that people who killed cops at the Capitol are pardoned, that women are sentenced to death due to draconian abortion laws. That's how bad.
Draconian, she says.
I am disgusted with this country and my fellow citizens. Hey, want to give me your US citizenship? I will gladly take it off your hands. Like, oh my God, the way some fucking Americans are like, I hate this country so much. Why don't you come live in the UK? It's you know, like, you know, you could live in
Like,
Croydon,
everybody
right?
who hates this country, I wish would just get out. Like, if you hate this country, get out. Like, go find a better place to live. Go find one.
We should do like some kind of a swap, right?
Yeah.
Where all the people, right? Like, you know, in other Western countries like Australia, New Zealand,
we could call it a based
really
citizen exchange program.
Americans, right? Like, if I moved to America, right, I'd have like a fucking American flag. I'd be like fucking grilling and shooting guns and doing all that fucking like shit. And I would count myself lucky to fucking be there, right?
You would be a responsible high IQ Anglo, which is exactly the kind of person the founding fathers wanted to come to this country.
And they can go to, you know, they can go and hang out in the diversity gulag, right? It's what they want, right? You know, they can, you know, they can have a help a black person holiday where they'll probably get fucking stabbed, right? Like in the face, and then have to wait like fucking 14 hours, like at the NHS, at the fucking hospital, like get seen at accident and emergency. It'd be great, right? Like perhaps they'll learn a valuable lesson.
I mean, I wouldn't say healthcare in America is that great. Like, it's
true. Not. Yeah, true.
It's an expensive shit show, and like everything's become so corporatized and conglomerated. It's very difficult to find quality, affordable healthcare anywhere. Like, I'm lucky to have what little we have here left, and I don't know how much longer it's going to last. So we'll see.
I really don't have words in the English language to describe how low and horrible I feel about life today. Yeah, okay, right. Like, I mean, that's one part I fucking agree with you there.
Whoa, stop. Look what Kate just said. Congress just filed an amendment so that Trump can run for a third term.
Oh, bruh.
Huh. Well, Wiki, how about that?
Wow. Things really are moving. Damn. The earth is just not for me. I'm glad I didn't procreate and doom my children to this burning world. Yeah, I suspect if you did have children, they'd probably be glad.
Like this cat lady or Troon who was going to have kids anyway.
Yeah. This is some stuff from like Reddit. Now you may recall that before Trump took office, the psychics, the lefty psychics, the witches, heretics, as I like to refer to them, were all saying that they were having visions, being told by their spirit guides, demons, that Trump was not going to, actually take office, right? Like, because they're too stupid to realize that if you talk to that kind of like shit, they'll tell you whatever they want and then suck your energy. But, I digress. Now you might be onto something. End of the day, believe me or don't, I'm not saying you have to. I'm just throwing out what I've seen. The psychics are now getting word that Trump is not president right now. This is basically, right, like lefty, witchy QAnon.
Wow.
Bullshit, right?
This was like that topic on DD I made a few weeks ago, Q-tards for Kamala. Remember that?
Yeah, right? And they're getting, the spirits, the psychics, they're getting quite frustrated with that answer because we don't understand. But no one even asked, was the inauguration valid? And got the answer no. Look, the inauguration is heckin' cute and valid, bros, right? It was a trans inauguration and it was totally valid, right? They got so much of this shit right up to yesterday and now they're all confused. Yeah, maybe you should, I don't know, come back to reality. But then I think back to the overall picture formed by the messages they got and I think they're actually still right. Sure, with psychics, you get one or two pieces wrong here and there or more because free will can bend those things, but the underlying message and outcome is usually never wrong. If from a genuine neutral space. That being said, they still see Kamala being president, not Trump. Oh my God, the copium. And I can't help but wonder if I was right, that the inauguration was a trap. What if he thinks he's president and he got away with it? I'm not going to focus on that, on that stupid how it happened question anymore, because the times I did is when I got it wrong. Come to Jesus. But the overall concept that someone's going to basically null out his presidency based off something that'll happen after he shows his true colors, when even MAGA hates him, that'll be where we are really headed, which makes me think maybe it'll be a week or two before enough people get hurt and we, the people, stand up. Yeah, but you won't, because you don't have the funding, right? Because Soros isn't backing you all. So, you know, it was never a grassroots effort, right? There was money and organization from these like horrible philanthropic, you know, philanthropic glow orgs. That's why all this shit happened, right? And it just goes on, like the amount of mental illness. This is you didn't. I mean, you did kind of like see the QAnon stuff, but I don't know. The two sides do cope in very different ways. I find
we have another paid chat, by the way.
Ooh, paid chat. Nice.
It's from Jason Kuna, the No Fight Guilt guy. He tried to send in one earlier and it didn't go through, but he says his second try worked, and he sends us $6 US like usual. Thank you very much, Jason. I really appreciate it.
Jason. I appreciate that, mate.
I'm not seeing any others at them. Oh no, one just popped up from Mousecat. Oh, Hoyt, good to see you here, Mousecat. We have Mousecat on the firm. Mousecat sends us $20 US on Entropy. She says, or he, is it he? He, yeah. Mousecat says, hey, you two are excellent, and sends us a little heart. Well, thank you very much, Mousecat.
Thank you very much, Mousecat. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
So this is the kind of mental illness I guess you're seeing from like the lefty kids. It's time, whether you're 16 like me, feeling underrepresented by the state. Yeah, okay, I feel you there, buddy. Tired and ready for change, or a middle-aged father or mother struggling to make ends meet. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to do with lefty policies, but I digress. This is not the left versus the right. This is up versus down. This is their heel versus our throat. Wake up. It is time for real resistance. Peaceful protesting does not work. Is that what this chuckle fuck thing's BLM was? Peaceful protesting?
It was just a few $1 billion in property damages, over 50 rapes and about 20 murders. That's all.
What's a few burnt cities between friends? Yes, come on, right? Asking does not work. The truth, if we do not strip them of all other options to lie, will not be enough. It will take the power of the people, which is a fantasy, right? I mean, you will learn this presumably if you survive, which we do not, which we have. Do not fall to infighting. Do not focus on stupid fandom or community discourse like male lesbians, because in the end, someone else's identity is unknown to us. And as a human, is it not our moral obligation to help our fellow person, no matter who they be? No.
The phrase male lesbians is both funny and makes me want to puke at the same time.
It is not your obligation to help the entire planet. It is ridiculous. You should help your family and your kin, right? Like, come on, right?
Yeah.
Who do we become when we deny basics of rights to those we dislike? Again, I mean, you deny it to the people that you call Nazis, surely.
Yeah, yes, of course they do. And also, these people have a very loose definition of rights. These people are all about the positive rights. These people are all about the commie Gibbs. That's what they think of when they think of rights. Like, give me health care, give me education, give me good housing. Like, they think of gimme rights, not leave me alone rights.
Those we claim who are immoral, such as prisoners. These people are tyrannical. Down with Musk, down with Meta, down with Google, down with Microsoft, Linux, Proton, VPS, pirating, physical media, farming, survival, community, harm reduction, local libraries, signaling, organized groups. I mean, okay.
Man, this is so salty. I want a margarita.
Stop focusing on the unimportant. The time to act is now. They will not keep us longer. Fuck this fascist system.
Hey, all of us fascists are out here in the cold being like, please, just a couple of drops, please.
Yeah, I literally can't afford petrol. It's what you deserve, you fucking fascist. It's what you deserve.
I can't afford to run the heat. Let alone petrol. Like, come on. Like, things need to change. We have people that are going to have cold winters because energy prices are too high.
Yeah, but it's no
Crazy.
less than what you deserve for being white is. I mean, you got to understand that, right? The resistance is already started. Okay, I mean, I'm not seeing it, but right? Like, maybe it's a slow burn, right? For instance, I'm resisting now by removing as many megacorps from my life as possible. Wow, well, that's going to be. Whoa!
This
Trump
is
signs
interesting.
executive order to ban central bank digital currencies.
Yeah, this is interesting if this is true. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. If that's true, that's good.
That sounds about right. It looks like he's going to pivot to Bitcoin, which is freaking awesome. I'm like totally there for it. This was the People's March. The People's March. The People's March, Tovarish. It seemed to lack organizational depth and made me feel worse rather than hopeful. Again,
you're telling me that a bunch of low IQ spoiled commies are not good at organizing?
Now, what do you notice about this picture,
no.
chat? You will notice that they have not been provided with freshly printed signs, right? That cost money to make. You will notice that they do not have an organizer class dressed in like high-vis jackets. You will notice basically they have no funding and organization, right?
Yep.
This is the actual resistance that you would have gotten from the left if it were not for like Soros and all those chuckle fucks pouring insane amounts of money and people into.
And don't forget people in our own government.
Oh, yes.
Like, people in our own government facilitated a lot of that shit.
Yes. Ardent Party, I noticed there's no black bloc. Yes, you do.
Indeed.
There has been some...
yeah, they needed a Ray Epps, Big O's. That's right.
There has been some big black bloc in Portland, apparently. But very poor showing. Maybe it was just not well thought out, but the optics of having a rally that no one attends seems to be far more harmful than doing nothing. I figured I would check out the march, get a feeling for the gumption of folks heading into Inauguration Day. I was hoping for a lift of hope, a surge of excitement for what looks to be a long slog for the next few years ahead for the existence of our civil rights. Got about 45 people, excuse me, standing in front of City Hall, no march. I felt like I had to make a final acceptance that things are just going to be not great for a while, maybe forever. Look, the economy's going to do great, right? Like, you'll forget all about it, like, as soon as you, like, got money.
I hope so.
Maybe when things get really bad, people will care. I don't know what I was expecting on a drizzly Saturday with no real advertisement of the event, when apathy feels like it has surged to an all-time high. Bonus homeless guy freezing to death in a pile of garbage a few blocks from the event. The lack of self-awareness.
I know. That's why I laugh. I'm not laughing at somebody's plight. I'm laughing at that.
I just feel like we as a society are failing. Get in the crystal. Bloody hell.
Get in the crystal. Before we move on to the next thing, we have paid chats to get to. Give me just a second. We have 2 over on Entropy, and let me refresh the others while I am speaking here. All right, over on Entropy, we have from Dove Life again for $3 US. Thank you, Dove Life. Dove Life says, have you seen that news story about how witches, these Wiccan New Age losers, are attempting to cast spells against Trump, but they can't because he has a shield, according to them. He is definitely a mythological figure. He's a god of our era.
Yes, I do remember that story. Well, he's protected by the light of God. And that's way more powerful than that witchy bullshit, right? Like, it is, right? Like,
we also have from over on Entropy, we have from Ardent Party. Good to see you here, brother. Ardent Party for $3 says, missed Mondays, so here, take my super cheap advertising bucks. Gulag Café keeps the pandas shagging. Ardent's After Party cures retarded salmon. Ardent's After Party Sundays at noon Newfoundland's time, which I think is 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. I think you're an hour and a half ahead of my time zone. I think. Consider your shield, Mr.
Drop the links in the chat, Ardent, so that people can.
You got admin, buddy. Drop your links, man. Invite people to your channel. Ardent's a good time. Go hang out with him. He's a fun guy. He's nice. All right.
So the desperation, the cope is real. Reddit bros, the cavalry isn't coming. that can mean only one thing. Yeah, you're boned. You're fucking boned. We are the cavalry. The American people have been the cavalry the whole time. What kind
You
of
mean those
American
American
are
people
you?
you've hated and talked shit about and said deserve to die for 8 years? Us? That's who you're talking about?
What kind of American are you?
What
Do you
kind of
even
American
know?
are you?
We really should have that.
You don't want people like me asking that question. It would not go well for them.
We really should have that clip loaded up. Given the surge in awareness around Trump's election interference and the outrageous behavior we're already seeing, why not just demand that Trump rescind all of his executive orders and resign by February 12th? Or we start shutting things down. People stop paying rent. People call in sick. People pull their money out of the banks and move it into the credit unions en masse. Cancel their
So
subscriptions.
you can find out what it's like to be immediately replaced by immigrants, like we've all been. You can finally experience some of that. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's gonna be a sharp fucking
It'll
shot.
be great. You with your stupid part-time 30 or 40 grand a year fake journalist job, or your pencil pushing worthless corporate job as a cat lady. Yeah, go ahead and stand on merit and go on strike. They'll fire you in a day, and they'll replace you with some Jeet or some Asian guy that'll work for 2/3 the price. Go ahead. You go find out what that's like. Go ahead.
Whatever. It doesn't require everyone to do all of these things, just enough people doing enough things to freak out the ruling class. I think the ruling class is quite content at the moment, actually.
I think so too.
Seen the ruling class? They are very happy. February 12th
Mhm.
is Abraham Lincoln's birthday, right?
Ugh.
A specific demand with a specific timeline, with specific actions that everyone can take. Yeah, but you don't have any funding, right? Because you don't have any
Yeah.
funding, you don't have any coordination, right? Like Soros ain't behind you now, so you're boned, right? And the reply, this is great. Part of me is strongly getting the implication that we're close to ready to go full South Korea and force the man out of office. They're gonna force Trump out of office, bros.
Go full South Korea. What does this person mean by that?
I think it is referring to the South Korean president who declared martial law and is now sort of like, got overthrown by the parliament and is now sort of like on the verge of charges. But I
don't keep up with South Korea. I had no idea that happened.
Minor story. And that's it. That's all the salt that we've got. Right? So what did you think of that? Are you hopeful about the growing in size of the crystal, the hardening of the edges of the crystal?
Yes, and I hope that all of these people, because remember, just like Samuel Hyde told us, they want our kids raped, they want us all homeless, and they want the white race dead, and they think it's funny that it's happening. This person is just like that. Don't feel bad for this person. This person is the same cuntbag who has wished you death and poverty every day for the last 8 years. Don't feel bad for this cunt. Like, don't feel bad. People who have chosen the wrong side and are still on the wrong side, don't feel bad for them anymore. Don't feel bad for them. We won't all make it through the winter, and people like this are the ones that don't deserve to make it through the long winter. They don't deserve it.
Feel bad. They had their time, right? They had their sort of period to implement all of the policies they wanted, and yet again, right, a corrupt elite just said they were doing a bunch of stuff, right, and looted the treasury and made everybody's lives miserable. If only they could have foreseen this happening, right? Where else in history years has socialism resulted in such an outcome? I literally can't think of one time.
We just had a hyper chat come in on Odyssey.
Ooh, nice.
Mr. Young at Heart, or Jung at Heart, if you will. Mr. Jung at Heart sends us $5 on Odyssey to say, what I saved on Celtic sea salt by watching this episode. Thanks for the sodium. You're welcome.
Trump should launch like a line of like Himalayan salt called like, fresh from the crystal or something like
that, Well, the only things I wanted to talk about was, the sensible stuff from earlier. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening. We don't know what all's coming down the pipe. Some of it could be good. Some of it will definitely be bad. But keep your eye on the prize. Be wise. Invest in the things that matter. and just be aware of stuff, but don't be consumed by it, and especially avoid slop. Like if you have a daily appetite of political slop, you're doing yourself and the people who depend on you a disservice. Don't do it. If you want to know what's going on with politics, find some sensible people like me, Chris, Jason Kuna, several people in our spheres that will tell you what's up and tell you a sensible way to view it and what you can do with that information. We will be the ones who sift through all the slop in the news for you. If you're a regular person with a regular job and a family, don't mainstream slop political content. It's unhealthy for you. Don't do it. I stopped doing it years ago. My life's a lot better. I just do it 2 days a week now for work, and my life's a lot better. So, just be sensible, and you can be hopeful without being a copium idiot. You can be hopeful and talk about the positive things without being a Q-tard that thinks Trump's going to save us all. Like, it's okay to be hopeful and look at the positive as long as you temper that with wisdom and skepticism. So that was the only important thing I wanted to share tonight.
Indeed, if you want someone to interface and parse the slop for you, you can check out Happening TV, which is my twice weekly news show, Monday and Thursday. I know there's some new people in chat. Come on over, guys. We've got a very, very comfy chat. All the slop that you can take without having to sift through it yourself. You can find all my links at www.net.
Yeah, no lie. Chris's bi-weekly, no wait, twice a week stream. Bi-weekly is every other week. What's the word for twice a week? Semi-weekly, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, twice a week.
I guess semi-weekly. But anyway, Chris's show on Monday and Thursday, his Happening TV, that's one of my main sources of non-American news now, because he always talks about stuff that's in Australia or the UK or Europe or whatever. I love listening to his stream just to sort of, have a fun, easy listening way to be aware of what's going on without having to dig through slop and read garbage articles and shit. So, it's good. It's good. That's why I support Chris and I like working with him. So there are plenty of people out there like I don't really enjoy listening to content like Tim Pool or Styx anymore, but I follow them. If you want to know what's going on in news, here's a pro tip. Here's a pro gamer move here. Follow people like Tim Pool, The Quartering, Lotus Eaters, Styx, Hexenhammer. Follow them, but don't listen to their content. Just look at their articles and see what it is they're talking about, just to sort of have a general idea of what's going on in the zeitgeist and what people are talking about. You can know what's going on in the media circus without having to waste your time listening or reading about it. Just so you can kind of have in your mind, okay, well, here's a bunch of things that the talking heads are talking about today. Does any of that interest me or impact my personal life? If so, you can look into it. But usually it doesn't, so you can just skip it and not waste your time. That's what I've been doing the last 2 years, and I have much more free time and a much healthier mind because of that. So
I mean, I got to say, doing the news all the time is not great for my mental health, but I'm powering through it. The grace of God. We have a song to play us out.
So we have come to the end of the stream, everybody. No more paid chats. I don't see any more showing up right now, but we've come to the end of the stream. So no. When I refreshed, we just had a new one pop up on Subscribestar. It is from June again. Thank you, Miss June. Over on Subscribestar for $5. Thank you so much, sweetheart. She says, I love being here. Chris is so funny, and Yiz is lifting my spirit with her message of hope with all that's happening. This is such fun tonight. Love and appreciation. Thank you very much, June. Thank you.
Thank you so much, June. I really, really appreciate that. And we got something to play you out.
Yes, we certainly do.
Get people get back in the crystal. It's the best crystal. You're gonna love it.
Well, I'm glad that you're here all the time, Big O's. I can tell you definitely like our streams because I see you in my chat all the time now. I'm glad that you've found a good home. I'm glad you found a good home. And Bass, I see you here all the time. I see a lot of people here a lot. And Kate, good to see you. I haven't seen you around much lately. Glad you're here. Jung at heart, always glad. All right, guys. Well, I have prepared a special video for tonight to play us out. So we will be back 3 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. UK time for the Happening TV with Chris Monday. And of course, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 11 p.m. Monday night UK time for more Discordant Dragons Monday evening. And with that, let's play us out with a fun song, Chris. Let's embiggen while we go.
Oh yeah, right. Wait. Hang on. Let me embiggen. All All right. Okay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Two a.m. on the 6th of November, North Carolina barroom, quiet as a whisper. And the TV's playing the Jew-run news, and the map's all red with a few odd blues. They ain't figured it out yet. Well, let the whole damn barroom shout it. Gas to $1 and women can't vote, but throwing every last immigrant back on a boat. The SMP just did a 45 X, but wait till you see what he's gonna do next. Cause it's as clear, clear, clear as pure white sapphire. All them shit-talking lips gonna wish that it was satire. You think I'm a fascist? Well, I think you're a faggot. Now watch us use a Garth and ancient magic to round up every liberal and lock them all in crystals. DC tunnels bright as July fireworks. 6,000 crystals down and he ain't even tired. Crashed out lips with them tear-filled eyes, having TDS over TikTok live. Last week they were hopeful, in a few more days they'll be frozen in opal. Retard, I told. Cause Liz Cheney's dead and Pelosi is next, and he fired everyone in the IRS. It's illegal to shoot fat girls on sight, and I bring my gun on domestic flights. It's as clear, clear, clear as pure white sapphire. All them shit-talking lips gonna wish that it was satire. You think I'm a fascist? Well, I think you're a faggot. Now watch us use a Garth and ancient magic to round up every liberal and lock them all in crystals. Mark Cuban, getting the crystal. Stephen Colbert, getting the crystal. Cardi B, getting the crystal. Rachel Maddow, getting the crystal. My wife's mom, getting the crystal. Bud Light, getting the crystal. Massachusetts, getting the crystal. Lisa Simpson, retard, I told you. It's as clear, clear, clear as pure white sapphire. All them shit-talking lips gonna wish that it was satire. You think I'm a fascist? Well, I think you're a faggot. Now watch us use a Garth and ancient magic to round up every liberal and lock them all in crystals.